Peace be upon you. Salam alaikum. Two live streams in one day. What is he up to? What's going on? It's probably what you're wondering. So, the reason why I hopped back in the air is because I received some questions from Michael, and I just wanted to know if he would like to ask me questions here. I don't know if he's here right now for the time being, if he is available, and if you want me to answer any questions he might have. We're talking a little bit about modesty, about the concept of partition, the hijab in Arabic, partition. I'm going to use English terms, right? I'm an English speaker, oh, praises be to Allah. But this is what it means. So many people don't get it. They think it's just a cover that people, a head cover, but it's much more than that. It's actually an entire system, and separation applies as well as well for men as it does for women, in the sense that men are also supposed to abide by the partition. Men cannot go around and speak to women without their male guardians. Men have to stay away from women. Men have to be not to look at them, not to be seen by them as well. But it's different, of course. It's not the same, because a man doesn't have to cover his face, and other regions of his body, even though it's always good to cover as a man, to be modest. But the modesty for men is very different. A man only has to cover the area from the navel to the knees, whereas a woman has to cover her entire body. So it is different, right? So different expectations for men and women, but the end result is quite similar, in the sense that we both stay away from one another, right? We stay away from temptation, but the women have to abide by the partition, right? And we are talking a little bit about law also and punishment. Now, let's be clear on that vigilantism is completely forbidden in Islam. Nobody has the right to take the law into his own hand. We're talking about how it would be in a Muslim country where the laws of Islam apply, all of them, and how people would be judged and punished, right, if found guilty. So it ranges from different sins, different crimes, because all countries have laws in place, right? You cannot do this, you cannot do that, right? In Islam, we believe that anything that is harmful, such as smoking cigarettes in public, swearing, cursing, even raising your voice loudly, oh, a lot, because we don't consider crime to be the same as, for instance, in a lot of non-Muslim countries, they have a specific number of crimes. They consider many things to be crimes, whereas others are not considered crimes, but in Islam they are. For instance, intoxication is a crime, adultery is a crime, um, gambling is a crime, lying is a crime, backbiting is a crime. A lot of things are crimes. So they're all punished in Islam. Now, it really depends on the kind of punishment on the kind of crime, on the kind of sin that is taking place. So, for instance, they can be prison times, they can be fines. It really depends, really. But generally speaking, the punishments for major sins, right? Um, Major offenses such as committing adultery, stealing, those are all major offenses, major crimes, major sins. So the punishment is listed in the Quran and the prophetic way. So, for instance, for the thief, the adulterer, the one who consumes intoxicants, those are listed clearly. Whereas other punishments are, it is under uh, it is to the discretion of the Muslim ruler, right? It is under his discretion. So I'm no Muslim ruler, right? So I appreciate the fact that you're asking me these questions, dear Michael, but it's not up to me. It's not my verdict. It's the verdict of an Islamic court system that goes through all of the necessary procedure. So it's not vigilantism. It's not somebody kidnapping somebody and dragging them out into the woods and doing something. No, this is completely forbidden. It is only by the Muslim ruler who presides there, the judge, there's a court of law, There are witnesses involved. You know how it works in law, right? In the United States, how law is, even though it's different because of the fact that in Islam, there is a different procedure, but it's a somehow similar system in place, right? It's not vigilantism. Did you know that even in Islam, if a man catches his wife, in bed with another man, even then he doesn't have the right to take the law into his own hand, right? Even though in the US and in many other countries, they beat them up, very, very badly. They end up bleeding. They end up, so this is not civilized. Whereas in Islam, this is not permissible. The Muslim who catches his wife in an act of that nature, how even though it's horrible, it's filthy, it's a very serious crime. He has to go to the Muslim ruler. He's not allowed to beat the man up or anything like that because in Islam there's a procedure, and nobody has the right to take the law into his own hands. So yes. So if men and women do not abide by the partition, once again, this is up to the Muslim ruler. There's a penalty for this, depending on the nature of the crime. But a woman within this, so hypothetically speaking, we're speaking hypothetically about law and order and how it works in Islam. We're not, speaking about real life events, right? Let's be clear on that. No, because you have to make it clear, because sometimes people misunderstand or take words out of context. So I have to make sure that I put out this disclaimer out there so that people understand that we're not describing real life events. We're only speaking hypothetically. So hypothetically, if a woman does not wear her burqa in a Muslim ruled by Islam country or state or land, whatever you want to call it, the punishment is usually well, at first she might be, advised, or not directly. Her male guardians would be interrogated as to whether they allowed that to happen. They allow this woman to be out without her male guardian, without her burqa, with perfume, with beautification. She would be interrogated. They would be interrogated. If they allowed her to do that, then they are partly guilty. Because men are the protectors and the caretakers of women. In chapter 4, verse 34, we are told about this. But if, let's say, they are completely, they don't agree with that, and they told the woman not to do that, but she went ahead and did it anyway, right? She defied the authority, then she's punished usually. It depends on the seriousness of the sin. It can be prison, it can be fines, it can be, it ranges from a whole list of possible penalties within the hypothetically, and I don't know much about Muslim countries, but majority of Muslim countries don't, like in Egypt. I don't know if they do that or not. I'm not sure, but this is the Muslim ruler's job. It's not for individuals to do. We're just speaking hypothetically speaking. Yeah, it can be jail time, it can be fines to be paid, and it really depends, right, on the seriousness of the sin. And yeah, just like there are laws of indecent exposure for men and women, not showing certain body parts, right? So it's similar, right? So yeah, it depends on the nature of the sin and what is shown and this and that. But generally speaking, yeah, like I said, only to the discretion of the Muslim ruler. And may Allah protect us. May Allah keep us safe. And since nobody's coming, I'm gonna end the live stream here. It's just a small, very small kind of answer to his questions. I hope that he'll be happy with that. It's not entirely detailed out or anything. It's just me improvising. I'm sorry, I'm not very inspired right now, so that's why I don't speak. I'm not speaking very clearly, but I hope it does make a glimmer of sense to you. Thank you for watching. May the peace of God be upon the believers, the submitters to his will, and may God protect us from the tribulation of women and May God keep us steadfast in those at all times. May God grant us paradise. Peace be upon you.